Now if you've done this in dim light at dark, right, you might want to use this as an opportunity to cover your eyes and open and shut your eyes into your darkened palms and just release any tension in your eyes. And again, if you're doing it at night time and you want to let in the light gradually, just bring your fingers down, let in the light through your fingers so you're coming back nicely to the world. As a final thing to make sure you're back here, in the middle of the chest we've got the thymus gland. Now the thymus gland, only in the last 50 or so years have doctors understood what it was. It's a gland that's to do with the immune system, and they actually, I think they used to take it out at times because they couldn't understand its function. So we're just going to make a little fist and just stimulate this immune system a little bit. Okay, and then that's it. You're ready to go. Okay? Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Students, because not having your sort of training, they find it extremely tedious and extremely boring. So what I do with pranayama is I teach the deep yogic breath, and I teach it by getting the students to put their hands on this area and breathe into the base of the lungs, and then gradually fill the lungs up, and then exhale from the base. And then what I do to make it a little bit more exciting is we have a clock sometimes and a stopwatch, and I see how few breaths you can do in a minute, and that's quite an interesting. It makes it more interesting how many few breaths you can do in a minute. The other technique is the alternate nostril breath. Basically, what I teach is that you inhale half the exhalation. So, for instance, you inhale to a count of 4, and you exhale to a count of 8. That's the first thing that I teach. When the students have got that, the next thing I teach is retention. And what the basic ratio is retaining 4 times the inhalation. So we've got inhale to a count of 4, retain to 16, and exhale 8. So, inhaling 4, retain to 16, exhale 8. The other thing is that because Westerners aren't used to sitting on the floor, the important thing is that you sit in a position where your spine is as straight as possible. So that can be a hardback chair. Doesn't really matter what position you sit. I mean, when I sit and meditate, I sit like this. A lot of people find this really strange, but the point is I've got a straight back and it's comfortable for me. What you need to aim for is you need to aim for a position where you're not so comfortable that you fall asleep, but at the same time you don't want it to be such a stress that all your attention is focused on that discomfort. So it's really playing with your body. Really learning to push the envelope gradually. The other thing that I teach is the pranayama, where we exhale. And I talk about the diaphragm here. The diaphragm is the sheet of muscle that separates the lungs from the abdominal cavity. And when we exhale, this sheet of muscle comes up. And the inhalation just happens absolutely naturally. So, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the exhalation, and the inhalation is absolutely happening of its own volition. And that is sometimes quite difficult to get the gist of. So again, it's not overdoing it, it's just trying it now and again. But you people, because you've got Jajit as your teacher, or we have got, in His grace.
So, Kapalapati.
Can you do Kapalapati?
Yeah.
Seetali Pranayam. Seetali Pranayam.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ
ਉਹ ਹੈਗਾ
ਉਹਦਾ
I can't do that with my tongue.